In 2009, serial entrepreneur Craig Zucker had a hit product on his hands, Buckyballs. Desk toys comprised of supercharged mini magnets that were flying off the shelves and into the shopping carts of fidgety-handed customers.
A large number of children have had invasive surgery to remove these balls once they're in their intestine.
Zucker's troubles began last year when the Federal Consumer Product Safety Commission sought to ban and recall the product on the grounds that it was dangerous for children.
See these magnets? They can make holes in your stomach. Seriously.
It's true that if swallowed, these powerful tiny balls can cause internal bleeding because they seek to find other magnets when lodged in a person's bowels or intestinal tract. But banning the product was statistically ridiculous, as a report in the Huffington Post explained. There were 22 reported incidents of ingested Buckyballs from 2009 to October 2011, or one for every 100,000 sets sold, meaning the product is orders of magnitude less risky than dogs, tennis, skateboarding, and poisonous household chemicals. And the product was clearly marked, "Keep away from all children." Finding himself in the crosshairs of federal regulators, Craig Zucker did the opposite of pull back. He went on a publicity rampage to save Buckyballs.
There are many products that have a far greater rate of incidence. We have created the best safety program in both the magnet industry and most industries, in fact. They simply wanted to put us out of business.
Why not also ban hippos, hot dogs, beds, and stairs, he asked. Zucker's company even created a poster encouraging supporters to give CPSC chairwoman Ines Tenenbaum a ring on her psychic hotline. Zucker eventually conceded defeat. Buckyballs disappeared from stores, and Maxfield and Overton, Zucker's company, was dissolved. But that's not the end of the story. The Consumer Product Safety Commission recently sued Craig Zucker, holding him personally liable for the cost of recalling Buckyballs, which the agency claims will come to about $57 million. The case is getting widespread attention in legal circles because it's the first time the Commission has attempted to hold a former officer personally responsible for the actions of a defunct corporation. Is the Consumer Product Safety Commission carrying out a personal vendetta against Craig Zucker? I sat down with him to discuss the lawsuit and a new initiative to help raise money to cover his legal fees.
So when the Consumer Product Safety Commission issued a total recall of your product, Buckyballs, you didn't exactly act like most CEOs would act in that position. You went straight to the public sphere. Why was that?
We had to do it because the Consumer Product Safety Commission went straight to the public sphere. I mean, you know, they sued the company on July 25th, 2012, and we found out by reading about it in the USA Today. So, you know, at the same time that they went to the media, they also started going to our retail partners and having product pulled from shelves. And we were just kind of boxed in. And really what we needed was public support. And we wanted, you know, people in Washington and our customers and consumers in general to be aware of what was happening.
Did you ever try to plead your case behind closed doors, or was that never an option for you?
There was not a lot of negotiating that was happening. They went straight to court, and we kind of went straight to the court of public opinion.
Do you have any inkling as to why the commission went straight after you?
Well, first of all, it is an unprecedented action, and I can't answer it. I don't know, but I think a lot of people in Washington, a lot of people in the business and legal community look at the aggressive campaign that Maxfield and Overton ran in 2012, which was the Save Our Balls campaign, and it was kind of me as the CEO being the face of that. And I think a lot of people interpret what's happening now as retaliation for us speaking out against the CPSC and disagreeing with their actions.
And if not you, then who is liable for the cost of the recall?
Well, the commission's estimated the $57 million cost, which is crazy because it's more than the company ever did in sales. So I don't know how they came up with the number. But, you know, this happens all the time. Companies go out of business and products end up, the commission wants the products recalled. And what's happened in every other instance is a press release goes up and it warns consumers of the defect or the alleged defect, and it urges them to get rid of the product. I think the commission's using this as a test case, and it's a dangerous test case because warnings are the regulatory scheme for thousands and thousands of products. It's why we're allowed to have, you know, household cleaners under our sink. It's why we're allowed to have power tools, because the manufacturers and the government assume that consumers will adhere to the warnings. If you start to go down the path of saying warnings don't work anymore, I think what you're going to start to see is thousands of products, all sorts of products, either for adults or children, banned and recalled based on this really silly idea that warnings work on some products but not others.
And what will happen if you lose this case? Will you file for personal bankruptcy?
Well, I'm not going to lose the case. So I'm not concerned about that. But I certainly don't have $57 million. The company didn't even do close to that in sales. And this was a company with multiple owners and expenses. And we lost a lot of money in 2012 before having to go out of business. You know, lawyers aren't cheap, as you can imagine. So I don't intend to lose. And I haven't thought about what I will do if we do.
And so you've launched this recent campaign. You have the Save Our Balls and you've got United We Ball.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
And we've developed a series of products. One's called Liberty Balls and one's called Ball of Rights. They're larger magnetic balls for your desk, and 100% of the profits of the company go towards the legal fees of defending the Consumer Product Safety Commission's lawsuit against me and against Maxfield and Overton.
Is there a danger of the Commission also pulling these products?
Yeah, you never know. But they are large enough where they don't fit down the small parts cylinder.
Are you partially doing this on behalf of other companies who might be in the future put in a similar position?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're very concerned about a precedent being set. And the precedent that would be set here is that limited liability for entrepreneurs, for company officers, for managers would disappear. And so, you know, the comparison that we've made is, you know, a guy owns a hardware store and he sells somebody a power tool with proper warnings and labels. And, you know, unfortunately, a child accesses that and is injured. In the future, if this precedent were to be set, that individual is personally and financially responsible for what happens. And that's just not the way that the American legal and business system is set up. We've developed corporations and corporate structures and LLCs to limit the liability of individuals. It's what allows us as Americans and business owners to innovate, to create new businesses, to take chances, to take risks. And I think without it, there's a very, very chilling and dangerous precedent that would be set.
Great. Are they the Liberty Balls there?
May
I have a look at your balls?
Right there. Absolutely.
I always wanted to say that. Well, thank you very much for joining us.
I appreciate it. Thanks.